Up for Discussion Live. Hosted by Jeff Sylvia and Shannon Sylvia. Bringing you the hottest topics, the coolest guests, and a live chat. So you can be part of it all. Up for Discussion Live starts now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly show where anything is up for discussion. Live here with me, Jeff, and as alongside, as always, the lovely Shannon. Hello, Shannon.
Hello, Jeff.
We're getting into the holiday season, kid.
We are.
It's skipping right over Thanksgiving, rolling into Christmas, but it's starting to feel like the holidays just the same, right?
It starts to feel like the holidays because of the media. The commercials on TV.
Commercials everywhere.
They started 2 weeks ago, so now everybody's got Christmas on the brain and turkey, and it's just ridiculous.
I'll tell you what helps bring Christmas on the brain is what's going on in Buffalo right now. You got cousins out there. You got
my
family
poor aunt and uncle and all my cousins live there, and I'm seeing the pictures uploaded to Facebook about them having to dig out their cars for almost 2 hours, whaled with snow already.
That is a shot from 2 hours ago.
That's what happens in Buffalo, guys. You choose to live there. It's a price to pay. But,
that is the lake effect snow, and they are measuring it right now in feet.
Yeah.
And Shannon, I know I've told you, there were days when I traveled back there where it was the same condition. I'd check into the hotel. There'd be 3 feet of snow on the ground. I'd get up the morning after, and there'd be 2 more feet on the car, and the stop signs were gone. And I tell you, when they get snow out there, it's no joke.
Well, you want Niagara Falls in your backyard, there's a little bit of water going on there, so that stuff's going to carry over and cause some snowflakes.
Plus the lake effect thing. They get a ton of lake effect snow, so it could be not snowing anywhere else on the planet, and there it's just like blizzard conditions.
I feel bad for them. I mean, it's such a nice place, but yeah, I wouldn't live there because of their snows.
Yeah, really. It is. We want to welcome all of you joining us here on the network, upfordiscussionlive.com, watching on your handheld mobile devices, your tablets, your iPhones, and also thanking the crew over there at LATV, right at the top there with Carl and Tina, Jack and Jane, and Dennis, who is soon to be retiring after this week, as a matter of fact. I
nice
think
little dinner with him the other night.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was awesome
to the Chinese guys.
To send them off, and we had a great group, but nice big family dinner there. And I'll tell you what, Tina knows what to do when she goes in. She is all over the menu. She's no messing around. There's no screwing around with Tina. When we walk into the restaurant and it's time to eat. It's time to eat. There's like,
I like that though.
You know, my ass hadn't even warmed the seat up yet, and she's like, "What do you want? What do we want?
Well,
what
it was cold in there.
But that's the way to do it, though.
Yeah. No, it was a good time. I mean, there was so much food left over. That was your breakfast the next day. So thank you, Carl and Tina.
Yeah.
Nice chats we had with people.
It was.
People I haven't seen in ages, and just a nice vibe.
Awesome. Now holidays coming and everybody's celebrating different things. You've been celebrating a few things. Of course, last week we celebrated the birth of little Gianna, which was very cool.
My little G.
Your little G is sprouting up and getting visits from Auntie already.
She's so stinking cute. I mean, oh my God. I can't even take my eyes off this little girl. I can't. She's too cute. She just lays there and sleeps the whole time.
She does.
I haven't seen her eyes open.
She cracked them open just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, but she looked miserable. She was like, oh, what's that thing called? Like, I'm going back to sleep. So
the hell with this.
It's just such a joy to have her.
Yeah, people are feeding me and wiping my ass. Why should I wake up, right?
I haven't had to change her yet, so as long as we can keep it that way, I'm going to be a great aunt. Okay. It's been a while since I had to deal with that muck, but she's a beautiful little girl. Little Gia will be her nickname, Gia.
Well, speaking of celebrations, I would be remiss if I did not mention, all year long, especially when you get into the holidays, you get toward the end of the year, it gets to be New Year's Eve, you start reminiscing about the year and all the things that happened, and you think about, things that you're proud of. And I'll tell you what I'm most proud of, my dear, is you.
Oh, my God. Again, you're always proud of me.
Well, you were now voted best bakery, number one best bakery and best desserts in Central Massachusetts Reader's Choice 2014. And there you are in all of your splendor with your new awards to go along with all the other ones.
I've got quite a few. So we really have to get those on the wall because I'm running out of places to hide.
Well,
But,
that has been an accomplishment for
yeah, there
you
was a,
that deserves to be discussed. I mean, you started in the kitchen, and it's funny because I was talking with Tim and Addisine today, who said to say hi, by the way, he's picking up your thing, and he was asking how you were doing, how you get started, and I was telling you get started in the kitchen. I mean, you started experimenting.
Most people do when you're baking.
You went to a class, you started experimenting, you did some things, and all of a sudden you had a little storefront where nobody could find you on Middle Street, and you still pulled out number 2 bakery out of the 3 or 4 that are around, and
I did.
Now you're in the new location. Now it's the Coupe de Gras. Now you can pull off the street
it's 2 stories now.
and get those babies right there, those delicious cannolis now available in chocolate as well.
Times have just changed. I mean, we're so much more busy now, and
it's awesome.
We have staff helping out, and it's just awesome. I'm very proud of what it's become. It was exactly what I needed it to be. And of course, bigger place, bigger bills, but it's getting better. Everything's just getting better. I love what I do. The cakes are just extraordinary that come out of there, and very proud of everyone. Everyone that had a hand in that. So. And
there was a few. And you've now, it's the old saying, you can only be so good by yourself. You've now surrounded yourself with some tremendous people.
Yeah.
And everybody's doing a great job there. And,
I agree.
Your mom and everybody just helping out.
And thank you to the Holden Landmark and the Leominster Champion newspaper for throwing that party. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
So, they do that. That's just something to do for the people that win the awards. It's nice. It's a legit thing,
It is.
It makes it legit.
It is. And you know what? I'll go there, but for all the haters that are busting you on Facebook with Too Moist Cake and all that other crap,
jealous.
Well, there you go. The proof is in the pudding. I think. I guess people like moist cake after all.
Well, I had a lot of people coming into the shop telling me that they were kind of rooting for the underdog, which would be me, because of all that crap going on, and it got ugly for no stupid reason whatsoever. Those people fighting wars and restaurant owners burning down their buildings twice, but they wanted to rank on cake that was too moist.
Too moist.
So
now, if you were anything like me growing up as a kid, I was the kid that licked the beaters.
No kidding. Right?
I stuffed my face in the bowl until I was just,
Still do.
I still do. Ask her. I can't leave your place without.
Brownie batter's the best.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's just the best.
Like
and still walking, guys. Still living. Gosh, Cherry Hill Ice Cream, which won an award too. They have cake batter ice cream. I wonder how they don't get in trouble.
Really, huh?
God, where's the hay mail?
Too moist ice cream. Could you believe it? Could you believe it?
It's like too cold ice cream or too hot hamburger. Come on, guys.
I don't know. What can you do?
Doesn't happen.
But I will say how proud I am of you for sweeping the awards this year.
Thank you.
And just kicking some serious ass.
It was nice to have the family
I watch you
there.
get up early. I watch you work very hard, and I watch you succeed because you're determined. There is nothing that is going to stop you, and I think that's probably what I'm most proud of all. You're most
thank
determined.
You, sweetheart. And you do such a great job for LATV, and you'll be appreciated at some point. I'm sure there'll be a little party for you and your favorite, maybe.
Geez, though.
Hint, hint.
I love those guys over there. They're a great team to work with. It's a lot of fun, I mean, the different projects that you get involved in. It's a little bit of everything. So it's a lot of fun, and we're going to keep that train rolling. And speaking of keeping the train rolling, we're well into our 6th year here, and hitting our groove. It's I tell you, it's like it's gone by like that. I mean, you think about there's never been a shortage of stuff to talk about.
No,
I mean, there always is stuff to talk about. Just
stuff to talk about.
I mean, it's
guests to interview, stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it
music
never
to play.
Out. And one thing that I did want to introduce here, and it's something that you and I had kind of discussed off the air. This is, you have your segment, the Who Does That segment, and I don't think I'm going to turn this into a segment, but I definitely want to make it at least today's focus, because I had a moment, folks, that I just need to share with everybody, and this moment we're going to refer to as the What Would You Say moment, okay? And you guys can feel free to call in live here. I've got the call-in number up. It's 323-902-6661, and this is one of those moments where
what is it?
All you can say, 6661. 323-902-6661.
How'd you get 666?
I don't know. Maybe I cut a deal.
Jeez. All right.
All right. Well, here it is, okay? You walk into a store, let's say, and I did. I walked into Hannaford's, okay? Shaw's, rather.
I was with you.
I walked into Shaw's. No, you weren't with me. This was by myself. I'd walked into Shaw's. I was picking up some groceries, and I had to take a piss so bad. There was
nice way to say it.
there was no stopping. There was just I was bolting to the restroom. I had to recycle the coffee, and I'm sorry. And as I got to the door, I couldn't help realize that there was just this horrible stench coming from in the men's room. Now,
Poop stench.
well, that's just because it's a small bathroom and somebody took a mammoth dump there just before I had walked in. So it smells so horrible that you gag. I mean, it literally gags you, but you fight it off because you have to go so bad, okay? So you can picture me. I've got my shirt up. I got my shirt up like that, and I'm filtering out the smell.
Liar, it was all yours.
And I get through my pee, okay? And it's horrible because I got to wash my hands, and now I'm in there, and the smell's lingering around. It's just, it's crazy. So
Did you have to let it linger?
well, you ask, could things get any worse, okay? So here I am. I'm suffering through that, and I walk out, and this is where things get worse. As I open the door and the smell comes pouring out with me, I run into an old friend, somebody who I haven't seen in a long time, who is ready to enter said bathroom
Probably a show
right
sponsor.
behind me. So I look at you folks in the chat room and watching on the air and ask simply, what would you say?
I want to know, what did you say?
I said, that
I
ain't
bet you
mine,
said
dude.
no, you didn't.
I said, that ain't me, dude. I survived.
Really?
I survived, and I hope you can too. That's exactly what I said. Are you kidding me? I ain't taking credit for that, Shannon. Come on.
I mean, at that point, you would have to say something just to cover your own butt.
Oh, you
No pun intended.
absolutely have to say something. You can. I mean, that is just one of those what do you say moments.
That used to happen all the time when I used to work at HP. I mean, corporate, there were so many people in and out of the bathroom, and my boss was right next to me in the stall. And it's been so long, so I'm not even worried about it. But I could hear it. She was dropping one, and I'm like, seriously? And then she let out a little fart. And, like, what do you do when the person next to you in the stall, like, accidentally lets some air out? I mean, do you just pretend you didn't hear it? Because, I mean, that's what people do. Or do you just laugh and say, good one? You just break the ice right there. I don't know. It's so awkward.
Farts are funny, right?
So
That's all.
I'm definitely one of those people that has a phobia of doing things in bathrooms. I don't want to be that person.
Well, it was just kind of like a comedy of events,
Poor
that
Jeff.
happened. I mean, first of all, I get to the store. I'm like, shit, I just had a big coffee, and now I got to pee, and I don't know, man. When you get coffee running through you like I do, I know it's a diuretic and everything, but man, sometimes it's a photo finish, kid. There's just no two ways around it. So, there was no other way to do it. But I mean, I was going in. There was no way. I was just going in, and no matter. I mean, I had tears running down my eyes.
It's like using an outhouse,
horrible.
like a portable porta potty. Oh my god. Tears streaming down my face, trying to cover up my shirt. I mean, my face with my shirt. It's so bad.
Unbelievable. So that's just one of those. What would you say?
I'm so glad
moments.
that we killed 13 minutes talking about fecal matters.
It's just one of those embarrassing things, and I'm sure there's going to be more in my life that I'll come up with, and we'll talk.
Notice
to you guys
nobody's
about,
calling in.
What would you say? I wouldn't say anything because I wouldn't put myself in that position.
You know what? There's just got to be. You should Google it. There's just got to be things that you can like Google on your phone, things to say when you're exiting a bathroom.
Has to be.
Somebody must have thought of that already.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Somebody must have thought of it. You've got to say something. You can't just walk out like with crap-eating grin on your face.
No, you can't.
Take responsibility.
I mean, because silence at that point is admittance.
Well,
I mean, if you just walk down, if you feel like you look down, you don't say anything, you just walk by the person, they're going to go in there and go, that was you. I'm not
That's
buying
like
that.
the SBD fart when there's only two of you. I mean, come on. The other person knows they didn't do it. You got to just have fun with it at that point.
Yeah.
If they acknowledge it.
All right. Well, now that we've gone off the rails with this show, we'll bring it back on here. We've got a lot of new things coming up here that we want to share with you guys. And one thing that's very exciting is a new show that's coming up on the network in January called This is the Nightlife with Dale LePage. And you know what? Shannon, Dale LePage to me reminds me of who? Michael Bublé? Where'd you go there?
Totally sounds like Michael Bublé. A
little
Harry Connick Jr. too.
Yeah. Let me play a little for you. Here's a little Dale LePage. Now, if you're not picking up your martini or your Cosmo at this point, tipping them back and having a good time, there's something wrong with you.
Super talented guy. Love listening.
Very talented. He is a 3-time male vocalist of the year, and I believe a 5-time New England Entertainer of the Year. So
and he just swept up
super
Best Entertainer, the same award I won for the bakery.
He did.
For Best of Central Mass.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know that until we saw it in the paper?
I did.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, you should have been bragging about it.
I am bragging about it. And I am bragging about his new show coming to the network in January. He's going to be featuring a lot of local artists and local music. And he wants to be the next Dick Clark of Central Massachusetts.
He probably will. If you work hard at it enough, you'll get what you want.
I'll tell you, the man shows determination like you do, Shannon. I mean, he is not to be stopped. He is a force to be reckoned with, and just super, super energy. I know you really took to him when we first met.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to bother them. They were in the middle of playing, but I like friendly people.
Yeah.
You know, they come up to you and give you a hug. They don't even know you. It's like, hey.
That's the way it should be, right?
Well, I like that. I mean, there's not a lot of people like that. So, and he's just talented. They all are very, very talented. I had fun watching them.
So we're definitely looking forward to having them on in January again. This is The Nightlife with Dale LePage. Stay tuned for more right here on the network. We want to thank the people that help us here the most. Those are our sponsors that stand behind us, stick behind us, and make the show go. And we want to start off by Leominster Storage Solutions. We appreciate you being part of what we do for many, many years now. And if you want to find out more about Leominster Storage Solutions, you can call them at 978-466-8887, or you can visit them online at
Friendly people.
lemonsterstorage.com.
I see them from my bakery every day.
That's right. You have a very bird's eye view of the place from
I see
across
them
the
all day
street
long.
there, right?
Zooms around out there in his little golf cart.
That's right. Yeah, that cool little golf cart. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, part of what we do here, guys, involves you. And when we advertise interactive, but interactive involves you guys. It involves you guys in the chat. It involves you guys calling in. And as always, we're going to post the call-in number here throughout the show for you guys. It's 323-902-6661. If you want to be on the show live with us, feel free to give us a call. Chime in. You can send your profound statements, your thoughts, your feelings, and we even have
comments, complaints,
we even have a
suggestions.
special complaint form to fill out. If you guys have those, we can send those your way as well. One person that takes advantage of that, Shannon, as we well know, and is back from the doldrums of who knows where, is our buddy JT. And it's pretty interesting to think what JT says
well,
this week.
I was beginning to worry about JT. Where the hell's he been?
Well, he's going to tell you.
JT.
Hello, Jeff and Shannon. JT from L.A. That's right, Shannon. The Leominster Happy area. I was just watching the news, and they showed this guy, Chris Angel, at Foxwoods, hanging from his feet in a straitjacket, about 100 feet up in the air from a crane, with a 50-pound weight tied to his neck. I guess he's an escape artist. I seen this same trick, well, the same escape done by a guy right here in Pittsburgh.
Norman Bigelow.
God, I don't even know if he's still alive. His name was Norman Bigelow.
I remember.
How did you know that?
Because he came to my high school.
Said that he was Harry Houdini
There's him right there,
reincarnated.
Yep.
This guy was great. I saw that same trick at Coolidge Park back in the late 70s or 80s. He was hung from his feet from a Kelly crane.
No way.
100 feet up in the air in a straitjacket. Wow. Norman Bigelow, he was one of the greats right here in Pittsburgh. He, I don't even know if he's still alive.
We'll have to find out.
If he's still alive, he's got to be older than I am, and I'm 65. But he would have police arrest him, handcuff him, throw him in jail, and he'd be out in like 2 seconds. People who couldn't get safes open, they would call
Just like
him
my
up.
great-grandfather.
He would open safes that haven't been opened in 100 years. I remember there was one in Lunenburg he opened up. He had this escape where he was in a coffin, and on the door of the coffin there was all kinds of knives sticking out through the door, and the coffin was spring-loaded.
Yep, I remember
People
this.
would handcuff him, chain him up, everything. And he had 1 minute to get out of that coffin or the door would close on him.
Wow.
And a couple times he was really close. I think he got cut a couple times, but he was the real Harry Houdini reincarnated.
Wow.
Well, Jeff and Shannon, it's been nice conversing with you. This is JT saying goodbye. Bye.
Thank you for calling, JT.
And there we go. That is into the male mind of JT.
JT, I did find him on Facebook.
You did.
It's facebook.com/Bigelow, BIGELOW.Norman.
Really?
I did.
So
I
he's
just
still
added
alive.
it. I added. Well, I think he might have.
Wow.
He just updated his profile cover 2 years ago, but that's because I'm not a friend of his. So
That's pretty cool.
that very well could be him.
That's awesome. Now, obscure reference, your great uncle or great grandfather? Great grandfather was an escape artist.
Was also an escape artist.
Named?
Frederick
Frederick
Sontag.
Sontag.
And
Okay.
he went under the stage name as Brindo, the famous mental telepathist.
Wow.
He used a crystal ball and wore a turban. And we've got some beautiful pictures of all that.
We'll have to dig them up next week for
Yeah,
you.
we really should, because it'd be kind of fascinating
Okay.
for people from,
We can do
see a Fitchburg guy dressed up like that. And he, too, did many escape artist tricks, just like a Houdini, shackled from here to here. And he would get out. He got out of the Fitchburg jail as well.
Wow.
And he would perform at Whalen Park.
Okay.
And he's long gone, but everybody wonders where, how the paranormal jumped a couple generations and went right into me. So very proud of that guy. Kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, he was from Germany.
Very cool.
He was a very cold German. That's where my family got their over affection from.
Okay.
But kind of neat.
So it runs deep in the blood. Escape artists, paranormal people. and all
I'm not
that
a good
stuff.
escape artist, but
No.
it's kind of cool to have that kind of history.
Good.
And JT, that was just an awesome segment right there, because
Yeah.
I do remember him coming to my school when I was in 8th grade. And I remember just sitting there going, "Oh my God, he's gonna die." He was sweating bullets. I mean, he looked nervous,
Really?
and that just gets the whole crowd panicking too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and he had like 10 seconds left, and the guy gets out. It's like, come on, how's that even possible?
Well planned.
Oh,
well
I
planned,
didn't
I'm
need
sure.
the heart attack stress, but super talented guy.
There's a lot of super talented people from the Leominster-Fitchburg area.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of course, you were on television. We have R.A. Salvatore, the author. We have Mike Devon, who's playing now in Whitesnake and
Yeah.
going to be back for New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah,
That
he'll
should
be
pretty
back
cool.
in Leominster playing, and we have a ton of sports people.
That's right.
Dave Dubzinski, I believe it was, and
Yeah.
Mark Rafsowski for basketball, and
what's his name? Diego Fagundes plays for the New England Revolution right here from Leominster, right?
And the guy that wrote "I Am the Cheese" is from Leominster.
Oh, yeah.
That
And-
movie.
and the guy
and the
from
Chocolate War.
Annoying Orange guy's here, too,
And
right?
the guy that plays the Grapefruit from Annoying Orange, Bob
Yeah.
Jennings. I went to high school with him.
He's here, right?
He moved back here from L.A.
Very cool. Very cool.
We have a couple filmmakers, and of course Matt Kelly, the drummer of the Dropkick Murphys, was my friend growing up, a close friend.
And how about the, what is it, girls
He was my
girls like
first
guys
kiss.
or guys like girls or whatever the hell is it?
Yeah, girls like guys or
that
guys like
band
girls,
was-
something like that.
something like
There's
The kids from Leominster.
Donatelli, I think his last
Yeah.
name is. He's one of the singers in that band.
Unbelievable. So this is
We
like
also have the soccer guy there, the kid from the
Yeah,
New
Diego.
England.
I just said that. Diego
Oh.
Fagundes from the Revolution.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
we're-
there's more. I'm sure
there's
we're not
plenty
thinking
more.
of them all, but R.A. Salvatore is probably one of the most successful sci-fi authors. You know, the Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Sure.
When Sean Litton was out here from North Carolina, he was dying because I took him over his house to meet him, and
And you know,
he's just
I-
like, oh my god, oh my
I've,
god, oh my
I've
god.
got to check with Jack and Carl back at the station, but there are a couple of world-class athletes from back in the 70s, I think, that were either part of the NFL or made it to Major League Baseball. But there's a couple of huge names that came out of Leominster and Fitchburg that made
Oh
it
yeah,
in sports.
Carrie from Mistress Carrie from WAF.
That's right. Of course, we can't forget her.
It's funny because I do always talk about her. I just forgot.
Mistress Carey from WAF. Now, what was her real name in high school? Were you allowed to say it?
Carrie Sorrow.
Okay. Does she ever say that, or is she going to
She's
hunt you
Carrie.
down,
She's still
Carrie?
Carrie. So it's just
Okay.
Mistress Carrie. It's like, they go by Greg Hill and LB, but LB just goes by LB and Spaz. And
Right. The Spaz has
she
been long gone.
in high school, she was a rock and roll chick. Big hair, just like now.
Cool.
Always wore tight black jeans and concert T-shirts. That she hasn't changed a bit. I got to give her Carrie.
Wow.
I mean, I got to give her credit. Carrie has never changed. She's exactly the way she was in
Stay
school.
stay true to her roots, right?
Right.
All right. I want to say hi to all of you guys in the chat room joining us there. We're glad that you can be a part of what we do. And if you are in green and you're brand new, if you have a name like Schmoozy Pookle or Bunker Lips or
Yeah, we got
whoever is in
Bunker Lips
there,
in
we
there.
got Bunker Lips in there. You guys can click on that little green guy. You can change your name. You can change your age. You can change your shoe size. Here you can be anything you want to be here. at the network, right, Shannon?
Yeah, it's just kind of cooler if you give yourself an alias so that we can call you something if one of your comments ends up getting mentioned here. But
Yeah, it works. It works.
like Funny Girl is the one that reminded me of Carrie from AF.
I know. We got a great chat room. It's funny because sometimes we have a completely different and other alternate conversation going on in our chat room, and it makes for interesting conversation.
It's usually pretty
during the
benign.
show. Yeah, of course it is.
We do, we do welcome that audience participation. So when we're talking about something, guys, jump in the chat room and join us.
Sure, of course we do. Now, we do have some breaking news. Of course, the biggest news coming out right now is, of course, about comedy legend Bill Cosby. And now being accused of sexual assault some 45 years later. And this is by a young woman that used to be on the set with him, I believe.
Really?
A woman told CNN on Monday that Bill Cosby sexually assaulted her.
Yeah.
And, let me get into the story here.
Does she still have the dress?
Yeah, she was assaulted 45 years ago when she
Yeah.
was a teenager. Joan Tarshis, a journalist and publicist, said she met with Cosby in 1969 in L.A. when she was invited to have lunch by some friends of his. They saw each other again, and she visited him on the set of The Cosby Show. On one occasion, Bill Cosby invited Tarshis, who had been writing monologues for the comedian, back to his bungalow to work some comedy routines. Right? I thought, that's cool, getting to work with Bill Cosby on jokes. That might be a great experience. Well, she said Cosby made a drink for her that he knew that she liked, a Bloody Mary with a beer on top known as a red eye.
He happened to know that.
Happened to know that.
Right.
Tarshis, who was 19 at the time, said that shortly after drinking the red eye, she passed out. She woke up, came to very groggily with him removing her underwear, she said. "You'll never get me again." Tarshis said that she tried to deter Cosby by saying she had an infection that his wife might catch. But then he made her have oral sex with him. These are, of course, her allegations now coming out of the Tarshis camp. She said that when she left, vowing that she would never see him again, but he subsequently called her home in New York and invited her to watch him perform at the theater in Westbury. Tarshis said that she didn't know how to back out of it because she hadn't told her mother, a big fan of Cosby, what had happened. Accepting dinner drinks at Cosby's hotel and again in the limousine, Tarshis said that she felt very, very, very drugged at the theater and asked the chauffeur to take her back to her car. She said that she passed out in the car, and when she woke up, it was the next morning, and she was naked in bed with Cosby. "I didn't say what I wanted to say to Cosby at the time," Tarshis told CNN. "What I said to him was, 'You old,' expletive. You finally got me. You'll never get me again." Now, Tarshis joins a group of women who have accused Cosby, who's now 77 years old, of sexual assault. Claims that the comedian denies. Now, what's interesting is that Bill Cosby is having absolutely no reaction to this. He's not. He's not saying anything. He's just sitting there with a blank look on his face. Next question, please. This raises a lot of discussion, and we had to get into this because, as you know, we always talk about the celebrities and the athletes and their responsibility to those who support their careers. And here is possibly one of the most iconic father figures on television. First question, I mean, does the guy really mirror his comedic legendary character? I mean, it's funny, I put this question up on Facebook, and there are half, it's pretty much half and half. Half of the people saying he's a freakazoid scumbag that's been doing this for a long time.
We don't have any.
And of course, I'm paraphrasing, but they're saying he's a freakazoid scumbag that's been doing this for a long time to women and getting away with it because of who he is, how much money he could pay them off with, and because of his celebrity status. Nobody's ever come forward. Now, there's another group of people that we'll get into as well. The other half is saying, 45 years later, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
come on.
You have now lived your entire life without
Notoriety.
any sort of, traumatic experience being reported, and now some 45 years later, you're coming out with these allegations.
There's a reason for that.
What's your take on it? I mean, as a woman, Shannon, I want to put this question to you. If you were involved in a sexual assault, and let's say it was with a celebrity figure that you would be afraid to say, look, nobody's going to ever believe me. Could you buy into the 19-year-old, or even going through your 20s and 30s without ever speaking out on something like that?
Well, I mean, there's two sides of this story. So she was either 19, star-stricken, totally going along with the sexual advance because she knew that this was a celebrity. Or he was really trying to get her drunk and have sex with her. So there's one or the other story. Now, if at that age you were in a Hollywood position and you felt like you were just raped, you should say something. Even if it's 10 years later when you're not in that position anymore and you're afraid of losing your job, you should say something. I don't understand the whole 45 years later. They're never going to be able to prove it now at this point. There's not going to be any evidence around. I mean, I don't know where this is going to go. But if he did do it, then, what do you do? It's his word against hers. So I'm hoping to God that Bill Cosby wasn't a slime bag like that. Would it surprise me? No. My good friend does Hollywood makeup for A-list celebrities, and I hear all the stories about how they cheat so bad on their spouses. I've seen it. I've been hit on by celebrities that were just completely trying to cheat on their wives with me. It's disgusting, and it happens though because they can get any women they want.
Well,
so
I'll just go on record saying that, judging by the fact they're still alive, this was pre-Jeff. That was the people that.
Well, yeah, of course, everything is pre-Jeff. Well, I mean, yeah, I was stupid in young ones too. I had an experience with a celebrity, but it was consensual, and it wouldn't be something that I would come forward 45 years later to try to blow the guy out of the water. It's just weird.
In Destination Truth, who is always on the money here when it comes to the Hollywood scoop, there's been many allegations over the years. This isn't the first one, and that's important to mention here because this has been a pattern. I believe there's 13 or 14 women now that have come forward, and
then go to the police, guys.
Joke.
You got to go to the police, and you got to do it as it happens, so that there's evidence between your legs. I'm sorry, guys, but there's definitely a reason why they're coming forward now. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. A lot of people are saying that, here's some money-hungry whore that's just trying to get the attention now, and now she's on television. And to me, the biggest problem I have, and of course I'm very, very sensitive to the subject. I believe that women should be protected in this particular situation. They should absolutely come forward, and they should never, ever have to deal with that sort of thing. People that are performing those acts and doing crimes like that should be severely punished. It is
so important that the girl comes forward, and of course there's rape on men too. I mean, it's just so important for the victim to come forward when it happens. It makes a world of difference for a case. If she really wanted to stop Bill Cosby from doing this 45 years ago, she would have come out 45 years ago. And if he is a scumbag and he's been doing this for 45 years to other women, shame on all them too, because he'll just continue to do it. Shame on all you.
That's the big part of it, is like, for 45 years.
It's their
45 years is a basically the majority of a lifetime.
It's
I
their
mean,
fault.
we can pretty much agree on that. Now, how do you argue in court? Because a court is a place where there is very little emotion that's involved and a whole lot of facts that are presented. How do you present facts after 45 years that are sustainable? First of all, I don't know what the statute of limitations is, first of all. And second of all, how can you prove any pain and suffering, so to speak, when you've lived with this for 45 years and conducted your life? How do you go back and say, well, now the guy's ruined my life? I don't know what kind of evidence you can bring up with that. I really don't.
I think there is a statute, but I think it's 16 years or something like that, isn't it?
And I think Draxel in the chat room was looking to be raped by Eva Longoria, for the record, by the way. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but yeah, good luck with that. Shannon's just going to
Wouldn't you want it to be making love? Wouldn't that be more substantial?
It is. Well,
we all have one of those, Rick. I mean, really, we do. But we just don't say anything.
The thing that's very sad is that Bill Cosby is an iconic figure. He speaks at colleges. He has he's been a motivational speaker for many years in conjunction with his career on television. And again, he's somebody that everybody looked up to. I mean, he was just an iconic father figure. He was Father Huxtable, for God's sake.
I mean, he taught me how to eat cake for breakfast.
And of course, the whole Jello pudding thing and all that stuff. It's like
he worked with young children for years on that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
The little kids would sit there and what's the name of that?
The Cosby Show?
No.
He was on Fat Albert.
No. It was a candid show. Kids say the darndest things.
Oh.
Didn't he do that for a while, or was that just Linkletter?
You would have to ask Destination Truth,
I
who
think
is
he
the
did.
resident expert on that.
I think he did take that over for a while.
Well, did he really?
Yeah.
Okay. But, in going back to the woman and what, she's dealing with, she's, let's say, for example, just to take the other side of this, she's maybe been struggling her whole life saying, nobody's ever going to believe me. Well, my question to you is, why is anybody going to believe you now?
That's
where
just
they didn't
it.
believe you before?
Shame on her. Should have said something before.
Especially, I think, when you're 19 years old and something like this is happening, there's, let's say, a more trained ear or a larger audience. I don't know how to quite put it. There's probably more of an interest, in somebody that's 19 that's being, sexually assaulted by a grown man than somebody that comes forward 45 years later. I mean,
well, if this goes to court, which I don't know if it's going to or not, but Destination Truth is saying he can turn around and sue them for defamation of character.
Well,
if they're proved not guilty.
There have been other people that we mentioned before that have come forward with these similar accusations, and there have been settlements, Shannon, where he has paid off.
Oh, it just makes them shut up.
He's given them shut up money.
Yeah.
But does that admit guilt? Does that prove a pattern of behavior here? That's a great question. I mean,
Justin Bieber did it, and he paid somebody off. It's just better to get them to shut up and gag them than go forward and drag it out with the media.
But when you have woman after woman after woman now, 13 of them coming forward, 13 or 14
He's been around a long time. That's what people do to celebrities.
77 years old.
They blackmail him.
Well, I'll tell you, the attorney for this woman is not interested in any settlement. He wants his day in court with Mr. Cosby on the stand. He wants him charged with sexual assault.
Yeah, well, good luck proving
nothing
that,
less.
Unfortunately,
it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. And again, the punchline here is 45 years ago. She's quoted in CNN by saying, "I really have nothing to gain by doing this."
Oh yeah.
I don't agree with that. I think you have a lot to gain by doing that. You get your mark on television. Next thing you know, I bet you 2 years from now. How much would you be willing to bet that the book's going to come out a couple of years from now?
Well, that's just it. I mean, if she really wanted to teach him a lesson, he would have stopped this a long time ago from happening to other women. Yeah. I'm just not buying any of this. If you're a victim, then you would feel for other women that this could be happening to, and you would have spoken up.
Yeah.
Something stopped her for 45 years. He's had a wife and kids.
Right.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the guy. But then again, if he's a scumbag and he did stuff, then it'll come out. I'm sure if there's evidence, it'll come out.
Well, that's the part. That's the part that bothers me. Is that we probably are never going to know, and that's really the part that we should all think about here in listening to this conversation. What are the chances, do you think, of us actually finding out the honest truth with his story, her story, something in the middle, and all of the money flowing to make sure that the story goes properly through the media? I don't think there's a rat's ass chance in hell we're ever going to really find out what happened to this woman, unfortunately.
I don't think so either.
No.
Time will tell. We'll see where this goes, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the facts, so I can't really. I can just give you my opinions.
Well, the facts are being assembled as we speak, and boy, it's going to be interesting if there's a day in court over this because, I mean, it's going to affect a lot of people. I mean, when you think about his iconic figure and what he means to this generation of people, there's a lot of folks that look up to Bill Cosby, and for his reputation to be tarnished like that is a really sad state of affairs, I'm afraid.
Let's just hope that let's just hope that he didn't do it.
Yeah, well. All right, we're going to step out, guys. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Shannon Sylvia brings you the very bizarre, probably more bizarre than usual this week.
Yeah, I did good this week.
Who does that? All right, stick around, guys. You're watching Up for Discussion live here on ParaRockTV.com and on LATV in the Leominster area.
Up for Discussion with Jeff and Shannon Sylvia. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Up for Discussion Live with Jeff and Shannon is brought to you in part by Bailey's Bar and Grill, Sasquatch Coffee, and Village Pizza.
Ay, 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 ay. I am the Frito Bandido. I like Fritos corn chips. I love them, I do. I want Fritos corn chips. I'll get them from you.
Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. Some people have a...
And now, back to Up for Discussion, right here on Para-Rock TV.
Hear that music, it can only mean one thing. It's that segment of the program when Shannon Sylvia asks, who does that? And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Shannon Sylvia. Who Does That is brought to you by Village Pizza, home of the true Italian pizza. You can visit them at King's Corner in Leominster, Massachusetts, or to find out more, you can call them at 978-343-7722. Shannon, what do you got for Who Does That?
Village Pizza.
All right.
All right, guys, I have 3 awesome stories for you this week. They're all true, 100%. You don't believe me, Google it yourself. And I know that for a fact because it's not only on the internet, it's coming from reliable news sources. So the first story comes out of Columbus, Ohio. The remains of cremated remains of an Ohio woman that were supposed to be delivered to her husband didn't arrive as scheduled for her own funeral. And now the U.S. Postal Service is trying to figure out what happened to the package. Everybody feels her pain, dude, because this has happened to everybody numerous times. And
God.
FedEx does the same thing. 80-year-old Barbara Kirkendall died November 5th at a Cleveland hospital, apparently because of a blood infection. Her remains were sent to her Columbus area home after the autopsy and cremation, says the Columbus Dispatch. Norman Kirkendall was supposed to receive his wife's ashes by noon Saturday under a money-back Priority Mail Express one-day guarantee. He told the newspaper he waited hours, but the package simply never showed up. Shocker. I feel like I've lost her, he said. His wife of 61 years, who he met in an Air Force base in Mississippi when he was an instructor, and she was one of his students.
You get the little picture up there.
Oh, my God.
Aren't they cute?
Her remains had been shipped to Columbus and signed out for local delivery. The newspaper reported what happened after that is a complete mystery. Postal Service spokesman David Van Allen says a vigilant search is being conducted. Kirkendall's family attended a memorial service Thursday without any remains, but her husband said the planned military burial in Dayton is postponed until they can find the ashes.
Who does that?
Who has their wife shipped after she dies? Have you ever heard of cremation remains being sent through the mail? That could happen, and it did happen. They were lost.
Well, how do you usually get them?
I would imagine that you go pick them up from the local crematorium. I've never heard of anyone getting sent to them by the mail.
I have an honest question. When we cremated our puppy, we had to do it by mail, right? We didn't pick anything up.
No. We went to the vet and picked it up.
Oh, we did? That's right. Okay.
Every time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, usually you go to the same place that you drop the body off, or the morgue, they'll tell you where to go after, but I'm so confused.
So today's lesson is do not mail
ship
order
anything
your
for me.
cremation That's all.
The post
right?
office.
That's
You'll
all.
never get it. You'll never get it.
All right, we do have to warn you that this next story, if you have small children, this is a very graphic image that you are about to see. So if you have small children, or you are squeamish, or if you have not digested your breakfast, lunch, or dinner yet at the time you're watching the show, you may want to turn your head slightly during this next story.
Yeah, we just thought we'd be nice and warn you because this is going to be pretty graphic.
It's probably the most graphic one yet.
This Reuters story, it talks about a nurse in Los Angeles that recently took a photo of a woman who gouged out her own eyes with pencils. The patient sued the hospital and its administrators after the picture went viral on the internet, her attorney says.
Oh, my God.
The plaintiff, who is not named in the lawsuit, was treated at Los Angeles County USC Medical Center. Jeff, I think you actually went there once for your arm.
I did.
In 2012, after she tried to commit suicide, I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it is, by jamming pencils through her eyes at another facility. So she was rushed to that hospital, according to the documents. The injury left the woman blind, understandably so, if you are looking at the picture. How's the chat room doing right now?
It's tough to look at. What kind of insurance is that?
They're talking about the suicide.
Oh,
It's really tough to look at. It's just not the best way to kill yourself.
HIPAA regs out the window for sure.
The as yet unidentified nurse took the photo of the patient with the intact pencils still sticking out of her eyes, then shared the unauthorized picture with one other person who passed the image to Joshua Shivers, says the lawsuit. Shivers in turn used his mother's computer to post the image to a shock website. The suit stated, adding that the photo has since been viewed more than 192,000 times, and now on Pararock it's 192,001 times.
Yeah, we are now that
the
shock
specific
network.
website to which it was posted was not disclosed, and pretty much this photo's everywhere now.
Oh, my God.
Who does that?
That's bad.
Wow.
Douglas said that before filing the lawsuit against the medical center and Los Angeles County officials who administer the hospital, they had asked to have the picture taken down from the website by exercising a copyright they hold over the photo since it was taken in their facility. Woman who blinded herself has received psychiatric help, learned to read Braille, and gotten her life back on track. Enrolling in college, but she has fallen into depression since the photo spread online. The legal action, which accuses the defendant of infliction of emotional distress, unauthorized disclosure of medical information, and other complaints, does not specify how much the woman's looking and damaged.
Oh, boy.
Who does that?
All I can say, Shannon, is ay.
That had to hurt.
You know, there's a couple of questions that come to mind here. If you get one in, how do you get the second one in once the first one's in? Did you do them both at once?
My guess it was both at
Just
once.
Both at once?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, my gosh.
That's got to be tough.
That is tough to look at, kid. Wow.
There were other ways, but that's just sad. And obviously, she's in a horrible mental state at the time that was going on.
How are you guys doing in the chat room? What do you guys think of this?
Yeah, they're chit chatting about. It's.
Wow. Well, everybody agrees that the nurse should be stripped of her license. That's
Nathan, is that a joke? She's looking for damages? LOL. You can't look for damages, but you can probably feel it in Braille.
Can't really look for much anymore.
Anywho.
Oh, boy. Wow.
So the last story of the evening, another Reuters story about an Australian man.
Australian?
The poor guy had a spider removed from his stomach after it burrowed its way into his body and survived for an amazing 3 days.
This is one of those monsters inside me things.
Awesome.
Son of a bitch. I was watching that last night.
Dylan Maxwell was on holiday on the Indonesian island of Bali, which is just beautiful. The tiny creature burrowed through a small appendix scar. Was that not closed up? And traveled up his torso.
A spider traveled through
a small appendix scar and
scar?
traveled up his torso, leaving a red scar-like trail from his navel to his chest.
I have a huge problem with this.
Lifting his shirt, Maxwell told an Australian television network, "That's literally where it burrowed underneath my skin." And while in Bali, Maxwell visited a local medical center, was prescribed an antihistamine for an insect bite.
Wow.
After running tests and putting things inside my stomach, they finally found out it was a tropical spider that's been living inside for me for the last 3 days. He posted this message on his Facebook page where he goes by the name of Dylan Thomas. Haven't felt so violated in my life before. Just really glad it's over. After returning to Australia earlier this week, the doctors removed the tropical visitor. They managed to pull the spider out of my navel and put it in a specimen jar and took it away, said Maxwell, whose mates have nicknamed him Spider-Man.
Oh, boy.
Who does that?
Gross.
Wow. How in the world? I'm still having a hard time getting my mind around this. How does a spider infiltrate a scar?
I don't know, man.
And go through an appendix? Or how does it even happen?
That scares the hell out of me because next month
I've got scars.
We're going to be on a tropical vacation somewhere.
I've got 5 scars from a lap Nissan operation that I had for GERD years ago. I've got tons of scars.
I know. I don't think that this is common. There must have been some kind of opening. It had to have been. What? There had to have been a way that spider could have just slipped through the body. It's just creepy.
That is wicked creepy.
It's just weird.
Not for nothing. I was watching Monsters Inside Me last night. I was kind of freaking out because, as you know, I got this like fluid thing going on in my ear, and I've never had it before. I really haven't. I got water. I thought I had water in my ear, and I'm splashing it around, and I could always get the water out. But for weeks now, I've had this like squishy feeling, and my mind goes right to Monsters Inside Me. I'm worried there's some friggin'
You watch too much TV.
Something.
It's extremely rare for something like that to happen. It's like 1 in a billion, I'm sure. So you shouldn't. Whatever's in your ear is probably just trapped water, and there might be a little swelling in there holding it in.
Probably.
It's getting cold out and things happen, and I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay.
Could be wrong. It's probably a maggot having baby maggots in your ear.
Oh, yeah.
I'd still love you.
No, you would.
Just more of you to love.
Even if I had a big friggin'
yeah, just like me says in the chat room, same way a fish swims right up your urethra, Jeff. I was thinking of that earlier.
Oh, yeah, we saw that one, remember?
That was Monsters Inside Me.
That was Monsters Inside Me. That was
yeah, you pretty much would have to block out my face if something like that happened to me. I don't know how I'd be able to go on national television and talk about that.
I mean, that show has some of the most disturbing stuff going. And it's all true. I mean, none of that shit's made up, right?
No. They actually do show like actual footage and actual x-rays and incredible things. It's a great show, though, because it's like the car accident on the side of the road. You can't stop watching.
No.
If you're flipping through the channels, like, yes, Monsters Inside Me.
You can't stop watching. Now, I got to ask you, that I know that show's real. How about, like, the Untold Stories of the ER? Do you think that's real and genuine?
I do.
Really? Even the sex ones and stuff, really?
Well, yeah, because there's casting calls all the time looking for people that have had accidents having sex. I see it. They're all real, but unfortunately, the clientele that signs up for that show is just a step above Jerry Springer. I mean, they're out there talking about their wild stories and stuff. But, the Untold Stories of the ER, once again, they'll show actual footage or actual x-rays or stuff like that. But they do talk about those.
Well, one thing I can guarantee you, nobody's going away from this show with an appetite tonight. That's for sure. My goodness.
Well, after last week, do you remember we were airing the old commercials of the Big Mac? So what does Jeff do?
Yeah.
He wrapped up the show, and we had Big Macs and French fries.
We've
done that with Chicken McNuggets.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go on record saying I'm very disappointed. I went to Mickey D's after the show last week because I hadn't had a Big Mac in count the years. I don't know how many years we had. $4.38.
Mickey D's has gotten expensive. It's gotten expensive.
I ordered 2 Big Macs and a small French fry, and it cost me close to $12.
It's because everybody's getting the dollar menu stuff, so now they're jacking up everything else.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the dollar menu, though. You think about what you get off the dollar menu. You can get a McDouble. You get a cheeseburger.
That's the whole point.
And then you get a Big Mac, which is the same 2 patties that are in a cheeseburger with a bunch of other crap on it, and they charge you almost $4.50.
I know. And you paid it.
I did. You know why? Because I didn't have my cell phone to call you to say, what else do you want? I had no choice. I was backed in a corner. I had to. There's nothing else I could do.
Sweetheart, that was your odd craving, not mine. I would have lived without the Big Mac before bed.
I know. No cravings
put
this
on
week.
A few pounds.
We got Thanksgiving coming up. No cravings this week. So.
Turkey's good for you.
How do you guys in the chat room feel about Thanksgiving being the now forgotten holiday? Christ, you get right past Halloween, and all of a sudden the Christmas music's going. I mean, Thanksgiving is a pretty important holiday, isn't it?
It's my doctor today told me that was his favorite holiday of the year.
It's one of my favorite holidays too. I mean, everybody gets around and eats, and it's like Christmas without all the damn presents and commercialism. That's kind of the way I think of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even buy a card for anybody on that day. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of relatively cheap day to get out of.
Okay.
And then it's so weird because then it's like Christmas is 4 weeks later, and it's like snap Christmas. Like it's so fast. The hell?
All right, I got to put it out there to the chat room. I got to put a question out to everybody that's watching, because we are now soon to become, and we actually became last year, this couple. We are the couple that puts up their tree before Thanksgiving, or right around Thanksgiving. Maybe. What do you guys think in the chat room? Is it cool to put up the tree early? I mean, should you wait till after Thanksgiving? Is it important to wait? Does it matter to you guys? Is it the holidays regardless? What do you guys think about the tree? What are they saying in there about the tree? Thanksgiving's my favorite. It's surrounded by two selfish holidays. That I do agree with Destination Truth. That's right. Yeah,
well, we've got the delay. So the thing is, though, for me, I like putting up the tree early because we don't exactly decorate for Thanksgiving. There's a cornucopia sitting on my table, but that's about it.
It's just covering up the wax spots that you spilled on.
I haven't decorated all year long here, so I'm jonesing to get the place looking a little different.
Okay.
Which I have so many decorations.
All right. Everybody's saying it's okay.
If you have the space and it's artificial, go ahead.
It's
yes.
all right.
Both.
Yeah. Everybody's like the day after Thanksgiving and then right around Thanksgiving.
So apparently if it's a fresh tree, you can't.
And then why not, right? Music, tree, decorations. Why not?
Should wait until the 1st.
Should wait until the 1st. Okay. Wait until December 1st.
So we have two different opinions on that.
Interesting.
I don't know. We're hosting Thanksgiving this year too, so there's a slight chance everyone's going to see Christmas decorations like Winter Wonderland when they walk in.
I'm still on the fence about it, kid. To be honest with you, I'm trying to enjoy Thanksgiving as much as
that's fine. We
can.
can wait.
Put a lot of work into it. There's a lot of work that goes into the bird, all the food.
The longer you make me wait, then the longer it's going to have to stay up in January. That's fine. We can bargain.
I'm cool with that.
I'm not going to take it all up. I'm not going to put it all up for hours and hours and hours so I can take it down 3 weeks later. Not happening.
We can have a Valentine tree. I don't give a shit.
You say that every year. You tell me I can keep up the tree year round, and I get all excited, and then you're like, no, it's coming down.
You can't have a tree.
Well, your parents do.
No, we can't.
Yeah, no, they do.
We
don't
cannot have a tree up all year round. I don't care what my parents do. My parents have a separate wing in their side of their house for it. We don't. We can't. We just can't.
They still have their tree up year round.
I know.
But their idea of taking down everything is just taking the decorations off of it, leaving it a pine tree.
Well, there's some people that leave the decorations up all year round too.
I'd like to.
I know you would.
I could just decorate every season and put up like little red, white, and blue flags, and then little hearts and little pumpkins.
We got just a couple minutes left, and I do want to touch on a story, as you guys have heard me say many times, and also during this show. We talk a lot about the athletes and the TV stars, movie stars, being held to a higher standard to those who support their careers and being examples in their community. And good for the NFL. Here is Adrian Peterson, Minnesota Vikings running back, who was recently indicted on child abuse charges of his 5-year-old, and now suspended for the season and perhaps longer without pay. This is before the court case even unfolds. There must be plenty of evidence there for the league to take matters into their own hands. And it's about time, because it's almost too little too late, Shannon, and we really don't have a lot of time to get into this.
No.
We may spill this over into Facebook during the week or into next week, but here we go again. If they're not murdering people or raping people or beating up their girlfriends, they're now beating up their children. I
think they're indestructible.
Every one of these superior athletes is now sinking to all-time lows in society, and we should be very aware of it. And thank goodness that the NFL is finally doing something. But Shannon, I ask you, is it too little too late? I mean, the NFL is having a reputation now of being a bunch of thugs. How do you view this?
I think they're a bunch of thugs for that. All the covering up that's been going on throughout decades and decades of this crap is just BS. Everybody swept under the carpet the Michael Vick's thing, saying, "Oh, he did his time," but he's still playing football. So it's BS. There's so many problems out there between the drugs and alcohol abuse and the ego abuse and the money that these guys are making. For what? They're supposed to be role models for children. These are supposed to be the best of the best out there on television, entertaining us, and it's just, and all the asinine money that people pay to go to watch these people. I'd rather go watch subpar people that are not in prison, in and out, and don't abuse people and dogs and animals. And
that's a good point, because the minor leagues, like if you take minor league baseball, for example, the Pawtucket Red Sox up here, hell, you can get a ticket for $8 and have a great time.
Yeah, and it's a nice family time.
It's a great family time. It's good baseball. I mean, these are the guys that are on the cusp of making the pros. They're hungry. They're not making the millions of dollars, so they're regular guys, and there's a lot to be said for that. Unfortunately, it is getting inflated with the salaries, and these athletes now are completely out of control.
They're indestructible. They don't care.
And that's what it is, unfortunately. But Kid, we're out of time. We're gonna have to stretch that one along for the next time. But we want to thank all of you for joining us and telling your friends about the show. We love having you here with us every Thursday. If you guys missed the show at all, you can catch us on YouTube. Simply search out PTV Webcast Network. We come up right at the top. You can catch not only this show but all of the great shows here on the network as well. And during the week, you can always call us with your thoughts, your feelings, your profound statements. We leave the recorder on, and when we're off the air, guys, it's your turn to talk, so feel free to give us a call. Tell us what's on your mind. Tell us if you want to cover a subject or anything else that you can do to be part of what we do. So once again, thank you all for joining us, and until next week, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Brother whiskey and sister nicotine. I must admit you got your claws in me.